Do you often wonder what the difference between Disneyland and Disney World is? Well, you're in luck, because we're going to talk about it right now. Hi, I'm Jim Spangler, the Goofy Guy, and if you love Disney, then you're in the right place. Be sure to hit that subscribe button below and the notification icon so you're always notified when a new video comes out. A question I get a lot is what's the difference between Disneyland and Walt Disney World? That's a big question. First of all, we have to talk about size. The question of size. Disneyland is 85 acres, and Disney World is 43 square miles. Yeah, it's kind of a big difference. So usually what I think when people ask me what's the difference between Disneyland and Disney World is they're really asking what's the difference between Disneyland and the Magic Kingdom. First, it's important to know that the Magic Kingdom was modeled after Disneyland. Disneyland was built first and opened in 1955, and Disney World, or the Magic Kingdom, opened in 1971. So, the Magic Kingdom was modeled after Disneyland. As I said before, Disneyland is 85 acres, and the Magic Kingdom is 107 acres, and that's a big difference too. And did you know that Disneyland can fit in the parking lot of the Magic Kingdom, and you could still park 500 cars? One big difference is that Walt actually built Disneyland, and that makes a difference. It makes a big difference. There's a feel in that park that is very special, and to know that Walt touched those things, he touched the items in Main Street, to help build those buildings and design them. It really makes a huge difference. And also, there is a light that is turned on and kept on over the firehouse in the window. And the reason is because whenever Walt was in the park, he would turn that light on, and it would let all the cast members know that Walt was in the park. And that's really important. So the spirit of Walt is always there, and you can tell. Another big difference, besides the size of the parks, is the number of attractions. Disneyland has 54 attractions. All of Walt Disney World, which includes 4 parks, 2 water parks, and 34 resorts, only has 46 attractions. That's kind of crazy to think about, isn't it? That Disneyland has more attractions than all of Walt Disney World. Many of the attractions in the 2 parks are exactly the same. That includes the Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, Small World, Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan, Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain. There's a mountain theme going on here. So it's important to know that a lot of the attractions are exactly the same. But it's also important to know that they're not duplicates of each other. Many of those attractions are slightly different than their Disneyland or Magic Kingdom counterpart. There are also differences in what attractions are at each park that are not at the other park. So at Disneyland, you have a lot more attractions. You have like the Matterhorn bobsled. You have Alice in Wonderland. You have Indiana Jones, which is a great ride. And it's actually the same track layout as Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom and the same vehicles, the same ride vehicles. But they are far from the same. They are very different. And I think the Indiana Jones ride is actually better. But that's for another video. You also have Storybook Land canal boats. You have Casey Jr.'s circus train, the Davy Crockett canoes, which actually used to be at the Magic Kingdom, and they took them out. They removed them. You have Finding Nemo submarine voyage, which is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, just in a new theme to a new story. The Magic Kingdom used to have 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but now it has been taken out, and New Fantasyland was placed over it, actually. You also have Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which used to be in the Magic Kingdom. Don't get me started. Pinocchio's Daring Journey, and Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, which is a great ride in Cartoon Land that they have at Disneyland. A few of the attractions that they have at the Magic Kingdom that are not at Disneyland include the Magic Carpets, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train ride, which I love, such a great ride, the Hall of Presidents, and the Country Bear Jamboree. Another huge difference between the 2 parks are the castles. And this is what most people think of as being different between the parks. The Magic Kingdom castle is much bigger than the Disneyland castle. So the Disneyland castle is 77 feet tall. The Magic Kingdom Castle, or Cinderella's Castle as it's known, is 189 feet tall. That's huge. And I'll be honest, when I went to Disneyland the first time, the Magic Kingdom is my home park. It's where I usually go. But when I went to the Disneyland for the first time and I turned the corner on Main Street to walk towards the castle, I was shocked at how big the castle was at Disneyland. And not necessarily in a good way. I just didn't realize that it was not as big as the Magic Kingdom Castle. I knew that it wasn't quite as big, but I don't think that I knew that it was that much smaller. Not that there's anything wrong with that castle. I love that castle. It is a beautiful castle, and it fits perfectly in that park. But it is a shock if you're not ready for it to see that castle for the first time. Let's also talk about the Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland is longer than they are at the Magic Kingdom. And I have to tell you, I actually like them better. I like the storytelling in them better. And I know when they made them for the Magic Kingdom, they tried to compact the storytelling, right? They try to make it more concise storytelling. But I really prefer the immersiveness of the Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland and at the Haunted Mansion. I just think that they have a little more to offer as far as attractions go. Another thing to know about the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland is that every holiday they do a Nightmare Before Christmas layover of the attraction, which means that they add things in to the attraction that are Nightmare Before Christmas. I so wish they could do that at the Magic Kingdom. And I know that's really not possible. I mean, Disneyland is mainly a locals park, and so to have the ride down for a couple of months is not as big a deal as it is at the Magic Kingdom when a lot of people are there for their one and only trip of a lifetime. And so they just can't afford to have it down as long as it needs to be down to do that layover. But oh, I wish they could do it. It is so cool. And I would really love to see that at the Magic Kingdom. It's a Small World at Disneyland is also different. It actually is outside. So when you wait in the queue line at the Magic Kingdom, all the cool clock and decorations and stuff are inside the show building. So it's all covered and inside. But at Disneyland, it's actually all on the outside, and it's beautiful. It is so wonderful to look at. You get in the boats in the outside to go in to the show building. And they also have a holiday layover that they do at Disneyland, which I also love. I think it's just wonderful. And they also do some cool mapping, video mapping of that during the holidays and such. It really is lovely. And I do actually prefer that over the Magic Kingdom. It's a Small World also. So now that we've talked about several of the differences, we've talked about size, we've talked about ride differences, we've talked about, the differences in the castle, the differences in some of the attractions that are the same between the parks. The question always comes up, which do you like better? And this is what I say. When I went to Disneyland for the first time, it was an emotional thing to know that Walt had walked in that park. Walt had a hand in building that park. It really is stunning to be there. That being said, it is much more compact, much smaller. I don't want to use this word in a bad way. It's very quaint. It's just lovely and special. And there is a difference in knowing that Walt walked there. There's something special. And I think that those cast members carry a certain amount of pride in that. And it shows definitely in the park. The Magic Kingdom is my home park. That is the park that I go to regularly, at least once a year, to get down there. And so the Magic Kingdom, I would describe as spectacular. It's huge. There's much more room, much more space to move. The castle is, almost 3 times as big as the Disneyland castle. I know, put your thumbs away. My math is not exact, right? I realize it's not exactly. But it is significantly bigger, more than twice as big as the Disneyland castle. So that is huge. And there's something just spectacular about that. It's just breathtaking to see that and to see that park. And so that's a big difference. Also, A big difference between the two parks is that Disneyland, as I said before, is mainly locals. It's mainly a local park. So they mainly have annual pass holders. They have a lot of annual pass holders. People go there regularly that are in the area. You know, they'll go once a week, if not more. I have many friends that go once a week and enjoy it every time that they go. And the Magic Kingdom mainly has tourists, what I would call tourists, people that are there for once in a lifetime, or like me, go once a year or a couple of times a year at most. It's not the same as the population that goes to Disneyland. That also means that the population at Disneyland is also a little more relaxed, I feel like, or at least I felt like when I was there. They're not rushing from thing to thing as much. That doesn't mean that there aren't people rushing. Hello. But it does mean that the locals that go there regularly are a little more relaxed about what they're doing. And so it kind of adds a little bit more of that relaxed atmosphere that I think that we're all looking for when we want to go to one of these parks. Another big difference is that Disney World and the Magic Kingdom is in what I always call a bubble. When Walt made Disneyland, he was not happy with all the development that happened around Disneyland, and he really wasn't happy when you could start seeing the signs inside the park of Disneyland. You know, the problem with Disneyland is that he was locked, he was landlocked, and he didn't think about that before he built the park. And so when he bought all of that land in Florida, the idea was to keep the outside world outside, to keep it away. And I think it really does that. I think it really does a great job of bringing you into this bubble to where you're not even aware of what's going on in the outside world. And I just love that feeling. I love going in there and just forgetting what's happening in the outside world. And that makes the Magic Kingdom and Disney World pretty special. Well, I hope this kind of cleared up a little bit about the difference between Disneyland and Disney World, or the Magic Kingdom. There are significant differences between the two. You know, Disneyland even has some lands that the Magic Kingdom doesn't have. I mean, they have New Orleans Square and they have Critter Country. So they have several things that the Magic Kingdom doesn't offer. They're both wonderful. You can't make a bad choice with either of them. You know, and we didn't even talk about the fact that you can go to Disney California Adventure from Disneyland just by going across the Esplanade. I love Disneyland. It was like going to some special place for me. I will be honest, I cried when I went there and looked at the train station on the outside for the first time, because I'd always wanted to go. I had seen it on television so many times, and it was thrilling to get to finally go see it. But the Magic Kingdom is my home park, and I love the Magic Kingdom. I love everything about it, and I love the grandeur of the Magic Kingdom. So you can't make a bad choice. Both are great options. And I hope maybe I've cleared up a little bit of a difference between the two parks, because they're both very special. They both have their own personalities. They're not, even though they're structured the same, they're not alike, even though they do have some of the same attractions. And they're both very special. So, you know, my advice would be, if you can, go to both parks. You know, go spend one trip at the Magic Kingdom and Disney World, and then one trip at Disneyland. That would certainly make for special memories. Hey, I would love to know what you think about the difference between the two parks, and did I miss anything? Did I miss something important that you think is significant between the two? Leave a comment below and let me know. I would love to hear from you. I'm always open to learning about new things and, you know, new stuff. Also, smash that like button down below. It really helps the channel out, helps other people find this channel, which I really appreciate. And make sure that you click subscribe and the notification bell icon so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thanks again for joining me. I hope that I've been a little bit of help, and I'll talk to you soon.